Hello everyone, welcome to the next video lecture of subject Interconnected Power System. Myself Himanshu Joshi, I am an assistant professor in Sri Labubhai Trivedi Institute of Engineering and Technology, Rajkot. We will continue our lecture for the chapter number 5, that is the frequency and voltage control methods. So in the last lecture we have learned about the speed governing mechanism and its mathematical model with its block diagram representation. So now today we will discuss about the turbine model. So in the case of turbine mathematical model, we can say that the response of turbine for a steam turbine in terms of their change in power output to the change in steam valve opening. That means the turbine output, or we can say that turbine output power will be a function of steam valve opening. That means the valve setting will be changed, and according to that steam flow will be changed, and based on that the speed of turbine will be changed. So the output of steam turbine is directly function of steam valve opening. So this is the basic two-stage steam turbine in which there is an input from the steam valve, and the steam flow will be flow from high pressure to the reheater to the low pressure stage. So this is the two-stage steam turbine with reheat unit, and the dynamic response is influenced by the two factor. The output of steam turbine will be influenced by two factor. So first factor is entered steam between inlet valve and first stage of the turbine. The second one is the storage action in the reheater, which causes the output of the low pressure stage to lag behind that of the high pressure stage. That means there will be a time lag between the flow of steam in between high pressure stage to the low pressure stage, just because there will be a energy storage in reheater. So we can say that the turbine transfer function is characterized by the two time constant. The first time constant is for the high pressure stage, and second time constant is for the low pressure stage. But generally we will represent this time constant with single time constant, which is the addition of high pressure stage and low pressure stage. So characterized by the two time constant, but for the ease of analysis it will be assumed here that the turbine can be modeled to have a single equivalent time constant. Single equivalent time constant means the combined time constant of high pressure stage and low pressure stage, and the range of that time constant is in between 0.2 to 0.2 to 2.5 second. So this is the mathematical model of turbine model. Here input is valve setting at point E and output is turbine power PT of S. Now this transfer function model is somewhat like this speed governing mechanism. Just exceptional case is that in speed governing mechanism there will be a feedback from frequency, but here in turbine model we do not have any kind of feedback. So there will be a only single forward path. So here KT is the gain of turbine, KT is the turbine gain, and TT is the turbine time constant. YE of S, that is the valve setting, and PT of S, that is the turbine power. So, in case of turbine model, the mathematical transfer function for turbine model is output upon input, that is the delta PT of S upon delta YE of S is equal to KT upon 1 plus TT into S. So, this is the mathematical model for turbine model. Now, consider the third and last model, that is the generator load model. That is the generator load model. Now, we can say that incremental power input, that means the command signal which controls the flow of steam to the generator load system, that will be the combination of delta Pg minus delta Pd. That means whenever there is a change in load occurs, the command signal will initiated. Initially, generated power is equal to the demand. Initially, we can say that generator is equal to demand. Whenever there will be a balance between demand and generation, there will be a no command signal will be initiated. Whenever there is a change in generation and demand, the command signal will be initiated, and the amount of command signal will be depends on the difference between generation and load, or we can say that generation and demand. So, this delta Pg is nothing but the turbine power. Generator power is equal to turbine power if we neglect the internal losses, and this delta Pd, that is the change in load, or we can say that load increment. So, this increment in power input, that means this delta Pc is calculated in two ways. This delta Pc is calculated in two ways. So, the first one is rate of increase of stored kinetic energy in generator rotor at scheduled frequency. That means this command signal is initiated if there will be a change in kinetic energy. Clear? Or we can say that change in scheduled frequency. So, this is the first case. Now, we are having a very fundamental formula for kinetic energy. So, this kinetic energy is equal to, let us suppose initial kinetic energy, I will mark 0 as our initial condition or initial work. So, WKE 0 is equal to H into PR. This is the very famous formula for kinetic energy, where H is equal to inertia constant and PR is equal to rating of generator, rating in kilowatt of our generator. So, this is our initial kinetic energy. Now, we want to find out rate of change of kinetic energy, that means dWke by dt. So, the kinetic energy is proportional to the square of speed, or we can say that square of frequency, because speed is proportional to frequency. So, the kinetic energy at frequency f0 plus delta f, that we have to find, because we have the kinetic energy at frequency, initial frequency, that is the f0. Now, due to change in load, we can say that our kinetic energy will be changed from WKE0 to WKE. Suppose this is the initial kinetic energy and this is the kinetic energy at some other load. So, if WKE0 will be changed from WKE, then we have to find out the change in frequency, because if kinetic energy gets changed from Wke0 to Wke, then in that case F0 will be changed from F0 to F0 plus delta F. Clear? So that we have to find out. So let me suppose to tell you that kinetic energy is given by 1 half j omega 0 square. Suppose initial kinetic energy is Wke0 is equal to 1 half j omega 0 square. Now we know that omega 0 is equal to 2 pi f0. So I will replace omega 0 by 2 pi f0. So that is equal to 1 by 2, 2 pi square, that is equal to 4 pi square j f0 square. Now suppose Wke0 will be changed to Wke. Now this change in kinetic energy is due to change in speed or maybe change in frequency. So let's suppose the angular speed will be changed from omega 0 to omega 0 plus delta omega. This is the change in angular frequency. Initial kinetic energy is omega k 0. Now the change in kinetic energy is Wke. Now this change is due to the change in speed or maybe the change in frequency. So what is that change? The change in that angular frequency is delta W, and that change in frequency is delta F, and that is why I have told you this condition F0 plus delta F. Clear? So I will replace this omega 0 plus delta omega by F0 plus delta F. Now we want to find out final omega ke. So I will take the ratio of Wke by Wke0. So this is the ratio of Wke by Wke0. So Wke is equal to 1 by 2 4 pi square j f0 plus delta f whole square, and Wke0 is equal to 1 half 4 pi square j f0 square. So this whole term will be cancelled out, 1 half 4 pi square j, and over here 1 half 4 pi square j. So the remaining term will be f0 plus delta f whole square divided by f0 square. So we can find out now our final kinetic energy. Wke is equal to Wke0, that means initial kinetic energy plus change in frequency, f0 plus delta f by f0 whole square. So this is our final kinetic energy. Now we are able to find out rate of change of kinetic energy with respect to time. So Wke is equal to Wke0 multiplied by f0 plus delta f upon f0 whole square. Now we have the initial kinetic energy. This Wke0 is equal to h into Pr. So I will replace Wke0 with h into Pr. So I will replace Wke0 with h into Pr. Now I will replace f0 in individual denominator of f0 and delta f. So over here f0 by f0 plus delta f by f0 whole square will be as it is. So f0 by f0 is equal to 1, and now I will square this term a plus b whole square, that means a square plus 2ab plus b square. So a square, that means 1 square will be as it is, 2 into ab, that means 2 into ab. So 2 into ab means 2 into 1 multiplied by delta f by f0. So middle order term will be 2 into delta f by f0, and last b square, that means delta f square upon f0 square. Now we know that delta f, that is the change in frequency, and this delta f term will be very small, that means change in frequency is very small compared to, let me told you, compared to our frequency. That means if frequency is 50 Hertz, then delta f may be 0.5 to 0.6. Let's suppose delta f will be 0.5 to 0.6. So in this term we have delta f square. That means if delta f is small, then delta f square will be very much small. So we can say that we can neglect this term compared to these two terms. Mathematically we can neglect, because delta f itself is small. So delta f square is very much small compared to this two term. So I can write WKE is approximately equal to H into PR multiplied by 1 plus 2 delta f by f0. Now I will differentiate this WKE with respect to time. So dWKE by dt is equal to H into PR. Differentiation of 1 will be 0, f0 will be constant. So 2 by f0 will be as it is, and this change in frequency is the function of time. So I can write d by dt with delta f. So finally we have dWKE by dt is equal to 2 HPR upon f0. I will multiply HPR with this bracket. So that will be 2 HPR upon f0 d by dt delta f. So this is the rate of change of kinetic energy with respect to time. Now second point that will affect on delta Pc. Second point that will affect the delta Pc, that is the command power or incremental command power, and that is the frequency changes. As the frequency changes, the load changes and it is sensitive to the speed. So the rate of change of load with respect to frequency, and that is the del PD by del F, can be regarded as nearly constant for small changes in frequency delta F. That means we can say that if there is a change in load, there will be a change in frequency, or we can say that if there is a change in frequency, there will be a change in load. So both changes are at a time. So we can say that del PD by del F will be a constant, because if there will be a change in load, there will be a change in frequency. So their ratio will remain same. Clear? The ratio will be remain same. So that is the constant for small changes in frequency. So I can write del PD by del F multiply by delta F, and this is the constant. So I will represent del PD by del F as a constant B multiplied by delta F. So B is our constant. So this is the second point that will also affect the incremental command power, that means delta Pc, and the second point is nothing but the delta F itself. If delta F will be changed, there will be a change in command power. So this is the second point which affect the delta Pc. So we can say that delta Pc having a two types of impact. First one is dWKE by dt, and second one is this delta F. So we can say that the addition of equation number 11 and 10, that is equal to delta Pc. So I can write Pg minus Pd, that means delta Pc. This is nothing but the delta Pc. Over here I have written delta Pc is equal to delta Pg minus delta Pd. So delta Pg minus delta Pd is equal to dWKE by dt, and that is equal to 2h PR upon f0 d by dt delta F plus change in frequency, that is equal to B into delta F. Now I will divide the entire equation by PR that means generator rating, to convert into the per unit system. So I will divide entire equation by PR. So this will become delta Pg become delta Pg per unit, delta PD become delta PD per unit is equal to 2H by F0. If I will divide this equation with PR, then PR will be cancelled. So in this equation only 2H by F0 d by dt delta F will remain. This B becomes B per unit into delta F. So this is our equation number 12. Now if we want to derive the generator load model, then we have to convert this equation into the Laplace domain. So after this I have to take the Laplace transform of this equation number 12. So taking the Laplace transform, we will get, so we have to take the Laplace transform of this equation, Pg per unit minus delta Pd per unit is equal to 2H by F0 d by dt delta F plus B per unit delta F. So Laplace transform will be look like this: delta Pg per unit, Laplace transform will be delta Pg of S, over here delta Pd of S. This is the constant, so it will remain as it is, 2H upon F0. The equation of differentiation is S into delta F of S plus B into delta F, Laplace will be delta F of S. Over here it is a differentiation, so S will be multiply as per the definition of Laplace. So in this equation I will take delta F of S as common, so delta F of S multiply by, over here the remaining term will be 2HS upon F0 plus over here will be B. So finally delta F of S is equal to delta Pg of S minus delta Pd of S. This equation, if I will take delta F of S as our left hand side, this will be goes to the denominator of this equation. So over here delta F of S is equal to delta Pg of S minus delta Pd of S upon 2H by F0 into S plus B. This is the equation of delta F of S. So again let me simplify this equation. In this equation I will take B as common, so delta F of S is equal to delta Pg of S minus delta Pd of S. B will be taken as common, so over here 1 will be remain and B will be taken as common, so here there will be a no term of B, so I have to divide with P. So this will be become 1 upon B into 2H upon Bf0 into S plus 1. I will rewrite this equation. I will take B as denominator of this numerator, so over here 1 upon B will be the change. Now this will be our final equation for generator load model. This will be our final equation for generator load model. So I will take 1 upon B as a constant of KPS. I will represent 1 upon B as KPS, and that is equal to power system gain. 1 upon B is equal to KPS, and that is the power system gain. Now second one is the TPS. Second one is the TPS, and that is equal to 2H upon Bf0, 2H upon Bf0, and that is the power system time constant. TPS, that is the power system time constant, and that is equal to 2H upon Bf0, that is the power system time constant. So this is our final equation for the generator load model. So let me draw the block diagram for this. So left hand side is our output, so I will mark delta F of S as our output, and this is our input Pg minus Pd. This is our input. So there will be a sign of subtraction, or we can say that this is the combined output. So, I have to give a summing point at the input side. So, Pg of s is plus, so I will mark plus over here. Pd of s is minus, so this is the minus. So, this is our input Pg of s and Pd of s. Now, their combined input is multiply with this gain Kps upon 1 plus Kps upon 1 plus Tps into s. So, I have put one block which is having a gain of Kps upon 1 plus Tps into s. So, this gain multiply with this input will gives you the output delta f of s. So, this is the equation of generator load model, and this is the block diagram representation of generator load model. So, till now we have learned a three mathematical model. First one is the speed governing system, second one is the turbine model, and third one is the generator load model. Third one is the generator load model. So, now if we combine all these three model, then we can get the combined or entire mathematical model for load frequency control. If we combine all this mathematical model, then we can get the complete mathematical block diagram model for load frequency control. That means I have to combine these two block, because this is the output of first block and this is the input of second block, that is the valve setting, and I have to combine these two block, because whatever may be the turbine output, that is equal to the generator input. So, Pt of s is equal to Pg of s. Clear? Whatever may be the output of turbine, that will be given as input of generator. So, Pt is equal to Pg. So, I have to merge these two block, and the output, that is the delta f, and this will be given as feedback signal for speed governor system. Clear? So, I can merge all these three block so that I can get the load frequency control mathematical model. So, let me show you the complete block diagram for load frequency control, and it will be look like this. This is the command power or incremental power or command signal delta Pc of s. This is the delta Pc of s. After that, there will be a gain for speed governing mechanism Kgs upon 1 plus Tgs into s, Kgs upon 1 plus Tgs into s, and its output is delta Ye of s, and that will be the input for turbine model. So, this is the delta Ye of s, which is output of this speed governing mechanism and input for the turbine system. So, this will be the gain of turbine system Kt upon 1 plus Tt into s, Kt upon 1 plus Tt into s, that is the gain for turbine model, and its output will be the turbine power, which is given as delta Pg of s. So, I can say that input of generator, which is equal to output of turbine. So, output of turbine is delta Pt, input of generator is delta Pg. So, I can say that delta Pt is equal to delta Pg. So, this delta Pt of s is equal to delta Pg of s. This will be the given as generator load model input. This is the input of generator load model, and over here delta Pd of s. So, I have put over here summing point, which is input as delta Pg of s minus delta Pd of s. So, this is the summing point, over here plus sign, over here minus sign, and this is the gain for generator load model kps upon 1 plus tps, kps upon 1 plus tps into s, and its output is change in frequency, which is given to the speed governor system with feedback gain of 1 upon r. So, output is delta f of s, which is given as with feedback 1 upon r to the input side. So, this is the complete block diagram for load frequency control. Clear? This is how we can get the block diagram for load frequency control, which is the function of command power, incremental power, and output of delta f of s. So, thank you very much. With this, we will conclude our session. If you have any doubt, any question, you can give your doubt and question in comment section. Thank you very much.